Welcome back to Real Fishing 2, the walkthrough. Today we are heading to fish for some Yamame trout. It is the month of July, and it is a fish that combines both strength and beauty. You aim for the white froth, which is, that's true. That's where I found most of the bites that I have. Food flowing downstream towards them. It's best to be near a drop-off in the little white foam. We are looking for a fish that is a foot plus 4 inches. It's a 1 foot 4 inches or 1.33 feet as we're looking for. Like most of the stream levels in this game, you can fish with bait and a strike indicator. You can fish with flies and you can fish with lures. We're actually going to take a look at all three of those techniques in this video today, as we work our way towards that 16-inch Yamame trout in the mountains and hills of Japan, as we head out of the Aqua Lodge right here to the beautiful birds and sunshine. Sometimes I let that play, sometimes I skip that. It does get a little bit old if you watch it every day, but I left that in there on this one in case someone wants to see what that looks like or is joining us late here in the series. So typically my strategy for these is to go to a stream pole, put on the caster bait, and use the strike indicator. It's much easier to hook fish on the bobber or the strike indicator, in my opinion. So like a lot of levels, I try to go for an easy method to hook fish. So we're going to see what that looks like here. You've got the little the ribbon style strike indicator. That shows you right there how fast you need to be. I left that in this video so you can see this is a very, very fast hook set fish. Some fish need a little bit more time on the hook set. This one, basically as soon as that strike indicator moves, you've got to hit it. Now, these fish, these Yamame trout, almost immediately go into that kick animation. Almost immediately, and almost without exception. They go into the kick animation right away. So you need to be able to put some muscle to those fish. And you notice right there, I was pulling with everything I had on that fish, and I could not get a turn before he'd kick me off. I changed to some stouter line, but the stream pole in this game looks like it's basically like a cane pole. It looks like it's just like a stiff, stout pole that you just kind of yank on. There's not like a real speed. So I was not able to actually get a fish turned around. So this is a look at fly fishing, which I don't show very often because you can see how laborious it is to get a dry fly to travel any length. Your thumbs get tired of stroking that rod so much to get that out there. So you need to go back and forth to finally get the dry fly far enough. And this one, I hooked it pretty easily. These are a jumping fish, so you want to stay away from reeling when the fish is jumping. The fly rod has a little bit more power to get it turned, but as you can see, I still wasn't able to get that one turned for very long. So the mechanics of fly casting are much different in this game than in Real Fishing 1. Real Fishing 1, it's much easier to get that fly a decent distance without like 7 or 8 whips of the rod. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, there it was 8 whips of the rod to cast what I would consider a moderate distance in this game. You know, maybe a halfway across the screen to the max casting. And there may be settings in the fly rod equipment that can help with casting. I wouldn't be surprised. This game does seem to have more mechanics that actually work. When I'm talking about mechanics that work, I've switched to lures and a spinning rod, by the way. A lot of games, especially older fishing games, have tips in the manual or in the game that don't actually have any impact on the game's mechanics. Thinking of the Blue Marlin that always tells you that you can have more fish biting if you use a longer line length away from the boat, but that's not really backed up in the game's code. Or things like the weather is supposed to have an impact on the fishing conditions, but it actually has no impact. This game seems to have more, anecdotally, there's a Yamame trout pulled in on a lure. This game seems to have more mechanics that actually will work. So for example, on these lures, when I did try the 20-pound line, I was not getting bites on the lure. So I was casting over and over and over again and not getting any strikes on the lure. I settled on, I think, 12-pound line on the, it may have been the large casting rod. And that rod has enough pull and enough oomph to get the fish turned. And on this rod with this particular tackle combination, it became much easier to land those fish. That's actually the best one I've gotten so far, 10.86 inches. Remember, we're going for 1.33 feet, if I remember my numbers correctly. So the spinner setup is going to be my go-to. That's going to get the seal of approval from me in terms of getting the Yamame trout that you need. You can hook fish regularly, and the tackle you have is strong enough to get them turned. The description of the fish does talk about them being a combination of, I think, beauty and strength, which is, I don't know if that's supposed to be played out in the fact that they are always going into the kicking the hook out animation, and you have to constantly rush them and horse them. Now, these fish, I almost never would stop reeling like that. When I get close to the bank and the fish is swimming straight down like that, I would stop from a sudden line break. But for the most part, I was pulling and horsing them in as fast as I could, because anything less would be a loss of fish. They're not something that you want to play slowly. And I believe I've switched here. Yeah, I've switched from the stream spoon to the stream minnow, the small minnow bait. And so this one, instead of starting on the bottom and reeling it up, it starts on the surface, and as you reel it, it takes a dive like a lot of crankbait. So this one is not crankbait; it's a minnow bait. So that one, I was able to get the fish turned. We're still in the less than 1 foot sound effect. You can hear that kind of splashing sound when the fish makes the turn. That high-pitched splashing sound indicates the less than 1 foot. So we are still with the minnow bait here, and I don't remember. There's 3 different color schemes of minnow bait that you can have, A, B, and C. And I can't remember which one this is. And right here, you can hear the deeper sound right there. That shows you that this one is more than 1 foot. So I know this is going to be the biggest fish I've gotten. I have an 11-incher that I've caught in here, or I've caught here so far, but I have not had one more than 1 foot. I thought I was going to lose him right there. And again, I've got him turned. You can see how desperate these fights are. And this one is 1.37 feet. So that jingle tells you that is going to be the level winning fish of the Yamame trout, 1.37 feet. So this was played out in about 2 sessions of the game, 2 sessions of fishing. So I think it was roughly 25 minutes or so of actual fishing time. That included getting the tackle combination just right and then starting to catch some fish. So that brings us to the end of the Yamame trout. That is going to continue on with we're going to head back to the Aqua Lodge as I finish up. We're going to head on to Ayu fishing. So in the freshwater side, we are heading on to Ayu, and we are still waiting to we're still waiting to advance our season over to the winter inshore fishing. We've unlocked the winter inshore from the summer inshore fishing with the parrotfish, which you have seen before. We haven't advanced the season far enough to get there. You can jump forward in time, but I decided to visit these summertime fishing spots to try to advance some of my freshwater action while it's still the summertime in year 3, I think. I'm in the 3rd year of playing this game since we started this walkthrough. If you are enjoying these walkthroughs, please feel free to leave a comment down below if you'd like to see those, or hit me up on Twitter where I'm also active _ATE, and we will see you next time.